The latest with the passing of Ahmed Kathrada coming through. All details are obviously emerging very slowly this morning, but what I can update you on right now is that religious leaders are this morning meeting to discuss the struggle icon's funeral details. Ahmed Kathrada died this morning at the Donald Gordon Hospital. What the foundation spokesperson Nishan Bolton is saying that Uncle Kathy will be buried in accordance with Muslim rites. There's an immense sense of sadness amongst everybody, and religious leaders are sitting down, they're deliberating on all of the arrangements, and what Nishan goes on to say is that they expect in an hour or two the details of his burial will be made public. So that's just the latest on the burial of Ahmed Kathrada. Well, as we all know, Nelson Mandela, Ahmed Kathrada, they are both those heroes that we recognize here in South Africa. And of course, the friendship that the two of them had through the years was something that storybooks are written of. And they always thought of each other in immense respect and fond ways. Great friends, but also very honest friends. On the line right now to talk about both the legacy of Ahmed Kathrada and the friendship of our late President Nelson Mandela, we've got the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Sello Hatang. Sello, a very, very good morning to you on this sad day.
Good morning, Leanne. Thank you very much. It is indeed a very sad day, but we believe that Mr. Kane is in a better place wherever he is, because I saw him yesterday and he was struggling, and may his soul rest in peace.
Now, the last a time or so, it's been a very difficult time for Uncle Kathy, as we all like to call him, and he wasn't well. He was obviously admitted into hospital. He had problems with his brain, and obviously it was the surgery that eventually wasn't easy to get through at 87 years old.
Yeah, last night when I saw him, the Kathrada Foundation explained that both his lungs had collapsed, had succumbed to double pneumonia. So I think with his advanced age, it was just not possible to then save him. But I think it's important that we remember that Mr. K gave every bit of his blood and sweat and tears to ensure that we have the country that we have today. I was just saying earlier on that I remember him fondly for some of the things that he always just did. He was a gentleman to the very end. You'd be with him and you find people queuing, and then the temptation is always to say that the elder must go forward and just be helped. And Mr. K would always resist that, because you'd be told, no, but you fought for this kind of thing, and you deserve it, as it were. And he would say, no, you don't cut a queue. A simple gesture like that tells a story of the man who was really respectful of those that could have been just below him in age, and also credentials in terms of struggle. But he respected them anyway.
Yeah.
The kind of work that we did with him around the anti-racism drive, and I think in his honor, Leanne, may we continue to build a country that's free of racism, free of all forms of discrimination, a more equal society, but also free of corruption. I think that those are things that he would really look at us and say, we are making him proud.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. The last thing that I thought I should share with you is that I was with him at the French embassy about a year ago, with the other two fellow Rivonia trialists, Tate Mlangeni and Tate Goldberg. And the three of them were complaining about their ill health, advanced age, and I asked them, but why do you continue to do what you do? Why do you still go and sit in committees of the ANC, in your street committees, etc.? And they said, for as long as God has given us life, we will continue to do the kind of work that we're doing. Mr. K is no more, but we are still here. we must continue to fight for that country that we want.
Yeah, beautiful words, Sello. It really is, because I think that emulates exactly what this great man stood for, and the humility that he certainly had in him. Remind us of the friendship between our late great Nelson Mandela and Ahmed Kathrada, because whenever you see photographs of the two of them, or whenever you see a movie and a documentary made of the life and times of both Uncle Kathy and Madiba, you always see them always sharing a laugh, always being together. And yet, for some reason, it almost felt that Uncle Kathy was quite a voice of reason in the young Madiba. Talk to us about the bond that the two of them had.
Yeah, interestingly, when Madiba passed on, you remember that Mr. K, almost with tears in his eyes, was saying how he had lost someone so dear to him. And that relationship I've witnessed over many, many years, where Mr. K was one of the founding trustees of the Nelson Mandela Foundation. At the time that Madiba thought of even establishing the foundation, he went to people like him, and he asked for their advice. He was a special advisor at some point to Madiba. You don't just choose anyone to be your special advisor, but those that you believe would be able to give you critical information that you need to hear. And Madiba, appreciating the relationship that they've had, he once said that you need to have friends who will tell you when you go wrong. And I think our deepest failure as people sometimes is that we surround ourselves with those who tell us we're so good. Mr. K was not that friend. He used to tell Madiba when he was going wrong. And I think we must continue to build those kind of friendships. Friendships that tell us that I think here you're failing the nation. Here you're failing our people, and you need to get this right. And may we continue to do that kind of thing, that we build relationships that help build our nation.
I want to just talk about many of the tributes that are coming through, and I'm going to pretty much ask you the same question, Sello. Former finance minister and close friend to Ahmed Kathrada, Trevor Manuel, he recounted the first time he met the struggle stalwart. Manuel, of course, was arrested and in custody in Cape Town's Pollsmoor prison when the man he looked up to his entire life suddenly walked into his cell and paid him a visit. Trevor Manuel goes on to say, "I'm not alone pondering life beyond this, and in my cell walks a man who tells me he's Ahmed Kathrada. I had sung his praises. It was shock. I was in complete shock. The person who facilitated that contact was a warder, Christo Brunt. The following day, Brunt brings me a card in fine writing of Ahmed Kathrada with a poem. Say not the struggle not availeth, and it comes not only from Uncle Kathy, but from all of the Rivonia trialists." That was a memory that Trevor Manuel shared. Would you like to share a memory with us? Because I know that you had a very close relationship with Uncle Kathy.
This is someone who was really dear. One has so many memories of how you just sit there, and he sent me a note after the last annual lecture. It is one of the best emails I've ever received in my life. There's someone that you've always sung about way back in the 80s as a child, as a young person. In the early 90s at university, sent you a note to say the kind of work that you're doing, you must continue to do. You must continue to be critical and ensure that you help build this country. And I think he then came to the office a couple of days later, sitting across the table. He was such a funny man too, that he started joking about how sometimes I take myself too serious. And I think it's important that those memories are not just about reminiscing about someone that was, but someone that will continue to be and continue to inform some of the things that we need to do as a nation to help build the nation that we want to have. So all the viewers out there, we should plead with you that when you see wrong, don't just sit back and think that someone else will correct it. It's your duty to do so. As Mr. K saw it as his own duty, that beyond 1994 didn't deliver everything that we wanted. We still have the kind of racism that we have. We still have the kind of discrimination, including xenophobia, that we have. And that all of us must continue to say, not in my name would there be a corrupt nation. Not in my name would there be someone who would just lose their lives having done something right. And that we should stand up to help build that kind of nation. And I remember him so fondly that, and I know that I will never forget those memories, but I'll continue to do the work that needs to be done.
Sello, thank you very much for talking to us. And as I wrap with you, just to ask you, I know that at 10 o'clock this morning there was to be a prayer session for Ahmed Kathrada at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, as well as an update as to his health. But that, of course, I imagine the scope has changed. Is that update still happening? Will more details of the funeral and the burial of Ahmed Kathrada be revealed then?
Yes, we will proceed, and we encourage people to also use our site to drop off messages which we will deliver to the family. We were working very closely with the Kathrada Foundation in this, and please feel free to just pop in at the foundation to reflect on the legacy that Mr. K left us.
The CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, thanks for reminiscing. Thank you for talking to us here on the program. We will continue to talk about Ahmed Kathrada and the things that he did in his life, unbelievable things that I think that you and I are probably going to be learning a lot more about this great man as we celebrate his life. Do stay tuned to Morning Live.
Tula